Well, Razorback fans, the depth chart was officially released as Sam Pittman met with the media for the final time before the actual game against UAPB. And it really doesn't make sense and doesn't really matter. So let's talk about it on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Inside Arkansas Live, which you can catch every weekday starting at noon on Inside Arkansas and InsideArkansas.com. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday as we are 2 days away from Razorback Football starting up, which of course we'll talk about, just like we've been keeping up with the same theme for every point in time. But, you know, I wanted to start with a few of the things that Sam Pittman had to say. Now, it's going to be focusing around the depth chart part of it, but there were some other things that he dove into, and one of them being about Little Rock games, which we'll talk about as much as people might hate it, but we're going to talk about it. But it was funny getting the depth chart officially from the University of Arkansas. And if you want to see it, you can go to InsideArkansas.com. We have it posted there. But just seeing the amount of oars put in there. You know, like you have one position that's saying, okay, this is going to be who's starting, or it's going to be this person. And there were some really interesting things behind that. Like, for instance, at the running back position, it was Jaquinda Jackson or Rashad Dubinion. And then you also had an or at the kickers. You had an or with Patrick Kudus or Amarian Harris, which, okay. Like you see all these ors and you're like, all right, well, I guess they'll see who's actually going to end up playing here. Or it may be one of these guys that are starting and maybe the other one will play a significant amount, trying to figure some things out. Well, as the press conference went on from Sam Pittman, it looked like that a lot of those ors were actually not ors at all. Like, for instance, the Jaquinda Jackson deal between him and Rashad Dubinion, Sam Pittman revealed that Rashad Dubinion had been dealing with an injury and has been banged up. So is he going to even play? Well, I mean, you know, the Jaquinda Jackson's ready, so why would you put an or on him if he's been banged up? Same thing, even more so with the Patrick Kudus and Marion Harris deal. Patrick Kudus isn't playing against UAPB, but there on the depth chart, it said he was listed as an or, so it made the possibility there. And then same thing with some other position groups that were listed and people that may have been in that second string spot too. Just a lot of uncertainty or at least some inconsistency there from what the official depth chart said to being revealed to what Sam Pittman said in his press conference. Now, I was one of those who looked at it and just kind of laughed because I'm like, what is this? What are we doing here? What is the point of a depth chart? If it gets revealed and then Pittman's like, you know, and this guy may not play, but yet they actually have to put it out or they do put it out. It just seemed really pointless to me. There was just kind of up in the air or whatever. But here's the thing about it. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, if this was against Oklahoma State or if this was against, you know, an SEC opponent, I think I would have a lot more concern about it. But honestly, with the ors that have been put into place and going up against a team like UAPB, not to be insulting against them, but it's fine. Like, Arkansas should have no problem with UAPB, regardless if Patrick Kudus plays or not. They should have no problem with UAPB, regardless if Rashad Dubinion plays or not. They should have no problem with UAPB not even caring or mattering what the kicker situation is or who's going to be playing kicker. Like, none of that should matter. None of it should matter. But when you have Oklahoma State coming up next week, which we'll know when the depth chart comes out then, and we'll have some more takes and everything from that. When that starts to happen, when that starts to take shape, suddenly it begins to matter a lot more. And I have always been somebody who actually appreciates and enjoys your first game being against an FCS opponent or a less than opponent, not trying to be insulting, but just not a big time matchup, not a big time Power 5 team, a warm-up game, if you will. And the reason I'm okay with all of that is because of this reason right here. You are dealing with guys that are being banged up or that are trying to get it back on the road to recovery. And when you go up against UAPB, this shouldn't be about a game about going out there and having to execute 100% of your game plan in order to win the game. Yes, you want to do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But this type of game should be like, all right, we're tired of going up against each other in practices. Let's go up against a team that we have more talent than, we have more depth than, we have a better coaching staff, reportedly. Like you got everything that's better. Let's go out there and take care of business, do some stuff, almost like a glorified scrimmage, and see where we stand. Now, y'all in the comments can get mad at me for that. You say you should never take a team not very seriously, or Arkansas has lost a lot of these games to less than teams, and just here in recent history, you guys should be able to understand that and not say that you can just walk through it, folks. It's not about being disrespectful because this is me saying it. It's not the team. It's not Sam Pittman. It's not the players. They're not the ones saying that. I'm the one saying that. And you can get mad at me all you want, or you can disagree with me all you want, but the facts are the facts. This should be a game that you have zero problem in, regardless. Your second string team should beat UAPB. That's not an insult to UAPB. You know why? Because UAPB is an FCS team. All right? They're an FCS team. It'd be no different than, a team in college football, even if they're a great college football team, me coming out here and saying if they go up against an NFL team, that they're going to get squashed. That's not disrespectful to the college football team. That's just the ultimate respect to an NFL team and the difference and how it is when it comes to talent and everything above and beyond. It's a fact. And if any college football team ever beat an NFL team, it would be an embarrassment to that NFL team. Plain and simple. And it's the same thing when it comes to FCS opponents going up against an SEC opponent. It's not about me taking for granted or just assuming Arkansas is going to win every game or that they're going to dominate an opponent. It's that you better win this game and you better dominate them because you are better. You do have everything about you that's better. And if you're not coming out, if you don't come out and take care of business and focus in on and getting the game going and playing your best and looking like a team that is destined to actually have a decent season, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to be satisfied. I'm not going to be happy. This is not the type of game I'm satisfied with a win. I need more than that. You need more than that. Because I don't care what anybody says. A win is a win is a win. Absolutely. But in this particular case, there is a big difference between winning 53-0 and winning 35-31. There is a massive difference between that. Because if you win 53-0, is that going to change your entire forecast for the season and win-losses? Probably not. At least it shouldn't. You could be all right, because you know why? Because you were supposed to do that. You were supposed to take care of business. But even if you win and it's 35-31, guess what? A lot of you, even me, will start to say, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, this isn't as good as what it's supposed to be. Maybe this is actually a bad thing. Maybe this team is actually not very good. That's what it's about. So, depth chart, no depth chart. Well, in Little Rock, not in Little Rock. Thursday night, not Thursday night. None of that matters. You better come out and you better dominate and you better show that you're the better team, that you're the SEC team. Plain and simple. And I don't care what it takes. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care how you have to approach it. Doesn't matter. That's what you have to do. That's not arrogance. That's not overconfidence. That's just a reality. If you want to be a big boy team and a big boy conference and be able to win big boy games, you should be able to take care of the FCS opponent with zero problems, 100% ease. So miss me on all that. Again, you can sit here and say it's me being insulting or overlooking, but it's not. I have respect for all football programs, well, most football programs, that are going to be going up against opponents. And I've seen Arkansas lose games that they shouldn't have. It has happened. But guess what happened after those losses? Everyone was pissed. Why? Because you shouldn't have lost that game. So don't lose this game. Don't mess around. Go out there and dominate. That's all I'm asking. It's not too much to ask, right? I think it's enough. Should be enough. Better be enough. But we will talk about that game being in Little Rock. Sam Pittman had some interesting comments to make, and we'll do that here in just a second. So stay with us here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, folks, here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast, we know that we are all about the energy, right? Pumped up for the energy, pumped up for the season. Well, sometimes when we hit that wall, though, during the day, it's hard to get pumped up. But that's what 5 Hour Energy is here for you. I know a lot of you are going to have a lot of things going on, getting ready to with the sports and with the kids in school and everything. It's going to be a lot. But 5 Hour Energy fixes tired fast. Whether you have a long list to do for work, a list of DIY projects to tackle over at the house, hey, take on a 5 Hour Energy shot so you can check off everything on your list. And if you're like me, you always have a large list of projects at home. Since I work from home, it kind of goes hand in hand. But when you get your supplies for the project, don't forget the most essential supply, which is a 5 Hour Energy shot. 5 Hour Energy shots give you the feeling of alertness and energy that you need to get into the zone. 5 Hour Energy is the brand hardworking people like you have trusted for over 20 years to give them the alert, energized feeling that you all need to get you through the busy and hectic day. You always know where to find 5 Hour Energy shots, right at the cash register at nearly every convenience store, as well as drug and grocery stores nationwide. You can stock up on money-saving multi-packs to make sure you never run out of delicious, energizing 5 Hour Energy shots. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com, that is the number 5, energy.com, hourenergy.com, and get some of those 5 Hour Energy products today, you can use my promo code right here, LOCKEDONCFB, to receive 20% off your order. This valid is only available until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with any other promotions. And the code is not good on subscription orders either. So go to 5hourenergy.com. Again, the number 5, hourenergy.com, and use promo code LOCKEDONCFB. Okay, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. So I'm not bringing this up, folks. I want to make it clear. I am not bringing this up to cause just the ultimate clickbait, whatever. Like this is something that Sam Pittman talked about. So I didn't bring this up because I know people get tired of it. I get tired of it. I get tired of talking about it. But it does mean something whenever a coach talks about it and brings it up. And that happens to be the game in Little Rock, because that is the fascinating thing. I still hold the belief that this year against UAPB and next year against Arkansas State, those will be the last games that will ever be played, at least consistently. There could be a one-off way down the road. But as far as the consistent games being played in Little Rock, those will be the last ones. That's my belief, okay? Now, this game being on a Thursday night, the game being down in Little Rock, let's be honest, it's lost its luster a little bit than what it once was. Everyone understands that. Everyone realizes that. But Sam Pittman had this to say when he opened up his press conference talking about the game in Little Rock, and also a follow-up to when he was asked about the timeline of those games in Little Rock and staying in Little Rock. Take a listen.
We're excited to go to Little Rock and take our football team. I believe it has a lot to do with the passion of the state. For a long time ago, I know it originally started, there was no televised games, many, one or two on a weekend. And I think that had part of the reason to go over there. War Memorial their stadium was better than this one in the past. And they had lights. We did not. There was a lot of reasons to go over there. But I think the passion overall from the years of Arkansas football had to do was something about our willingness to go play games in Little Rock. Our team is not looking at this as, well, we have to go play in Little Rock. We're looking at it as opportunity to take the team on the road and have a great opening game in the great city of Little Rock. And whether I want to do that for years to come or not is irrelevant right now for this Thursday night's game. But we are excited to go over there. It's on our schedule. It's where we're going to play, and we're excited to go over there. And we hope that we'll have a whole lot of fans at the game supporting our football team. Looking forward to playing Pine Bluff. Looking forward to playing a in-state opponent. And we know that Coach Hampton has done a good job. As he goes into this year, he'll know more about his team, and they'll have a better team, as I hope we do as well. But we have a lot of respect for University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and we're looking forward to getting over there. I think the only concerning thing, and I think half of the I don't know that the word's problem, half of the concern, okay, is that we're going to play in our stadium once in the first 5 games. And one of them's in Little Rock and one of them's in Dallas. Now, the Dallas game is, we'll end up playing Texas A&M here next year. But if you look at it and you consistently look at it, I believe the year we won 9, I think we had 6 games, and I think 4 of them, y'all check me on this, but I'm saying I think 4 of them were home games, and we were in here twice, and I, to be honest with you, I just don't know that it's fair to the fans. I mean, they know where the University of Arkansas is. They can plan it. They can get here for games. I think they want to be here for games. So there are problems with that, including the 1 for 5 here. I don't know the answer, to be honest with you, in the future. Obviously, we're going to go play Arkansas State a year from now over there in Little Rock, but I think there's a lot of conversation probably needs to be had between now and 2026.
Okay, so I know that was a long clip and hearing from Sam Pittman and talking about, the game in Little Rock. But here's kind of the vibe I get, and it's pretty obvious. And I feel bad in a way for Sam Pittman and just anybody in this position, because it's like you have to go down there and you have to play well in those games. You have to, like, plain and simple. But it's just what you have to do. And you can't approach it in a way of some sort of burden. But it is. Like, you can tell it is. And it has been for a bit. And it's just unfortunate because it's not fair to the people that really enjoy that game down there. It really isn't. People know where I've sat on this and how I felt about this for a while. About the games being in Fayetteville, and they need to stay in Fayetteville, and I still stick to that. But it's almost not fair that you got to kind of like put on this happy face. It's kind of like going to the family reunion that no one wants to go to. You don't want to go to it, but you have to go to it, and you're having to like pump up the family that your immediate family that you're bringing. You're like, okay, all right, guys, got to enjoy that we're going to go. Okay, we want to go here. Just put on the happy face and go down there and say hi to grandma and hi to all the people. They love to see you, and just. If they do weird stuff to you, if your uncle says pull my finger a lot, just get there and smile and do it anyways. That's the vibe that it gives. It gives a thing of like, yeah, we're gonna tell you that it's not a burden, and we're gonna tell you that it's this and this, and it's gonna be great. But everyone knows. Everyone knows. And so, like what Sam Pittman talked about, I guess it was interesting because he did say Texas A&M's coming to Fayetteville next year, which I guess we can go ahead and mark that into the schedule. But it's just something that it's unfortunate, and it just needs to die. Like I feel bad. I feel bad about it all. It seems like it's just a nasty, toxic thing. But I'm going to be down there in Little Rock. A lot of you are going to be down there in Little Rock. You guys are going to be enjoying it and having a great time, and I hope you do. I really hope you do, and I hope Arkansas puts on a great show because you all deserve it. You all deserve it, but. Just didn't really change my mind or really make me feel any more confident about after Sam Pittman's comments there about the Little Rock game. But hey, we'll talk about being 2 days away from Razorback football, though, which is going to be in Little Rock. here in just a second, but stay with us here for just a little bit on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, folks, all you Locked On Razorback fans, I want to take a moment to give you a heads up on the brand new mobile game that I think you're going to love as much as I do. It's the Ultimate College Football HC. And this amazing game and simulation, you get to step into the shoes of a head coach and lead your college football program to glory. Can you imagine actually being the head coach of the Razorbacks? I bet you probably want to play all your games in Little Rock, wouldn't you? Well, in this amazing game, you can be recruiting players, hiring a coaching staff, to overseeing training camps and handling high school scholarships. How about that? You can even control crucial details of your program, and it's all in your hands. Will you be able to handle the pressure is the ultimate question. And here's what I really love about the game, that you're responsible for calling offensive plays during the games. Your strategy will not only determine the success of your football season, but will shape the future and legacy of your program. Ultimate College Football HC is completely free, has no ads, and is 100% playable offline. You can play on the go as you want and when you want to. And, of course, we have a special offer for your Locked On Razorback fans. You can use the promo code LOCKEDONCFB, all caps, inside the game store to receive a free boost to your program. Make sure that you take advantage of this perk, as it will get your team off to a really strong start. So to download the game, just visit ultimate-cfb.com. That's ultimate-cfb.com. Or look it up on the app stores. It's the Ultimate College Football HC. Begin your coaching legacy today. We're also brought to you by Ibotta. Listen, are you trying to take that dream vacation, maybe to go to one of these great games, maybe going on these great trips, maybe you're heading over to Stillwater? What could be a better vacation than that? But hey, it's going to cost you a little bit, right? Well, with Ibotta, you get cash back on all of your purchases. So you can spend more time making memories of going to those great games and less time dreaming about them. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. Earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys. So you can make sure that you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns about $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, a flight you've been eyeing, or a fancy dinner you've been craving. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores. Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and so much more. And right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 for just trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE when you register. So go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. All right, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. 2 days away, right? We've been playing this game and had some fun with it. And, this one is one of the few numbers that when it gets down to the nitty gritty, it was like 2 and 6, but then 6, it's like when you started thinking about the players, you're like, okay, there's a few good ones in there. Same with 7, some good ones. 8, yeah, 9 for sure. 10. 2 is one of those that seems like a pretty popular number, a common number that would be in sports. Single digits usually are. But number 2, there hasn't really been a lot of iconic number 2s in Razorback history. So let me ask you, who is the first number 2 that you think of? Try to get your mind out of the toilet, no pun intended. But the first number 2 for the Razorbacks, ones that come to my mind, I would say, would probably be, a London Crawford when he caught the Miracle on Markham Part 2 pass there in 2008 under Bobby Petrino. I think of Julian Horton. Scoop and score, unfortunately, is what I think of. But you got him. I also think back to Anthony Eubanks. I don't know how many of you remember Anthony Eubanks, but kind of a mid to late 90s wide receiver who was number 2 for the Razorbacks. But that's kind of it. And I'm sure that there's more. In fact, I know that there's more. There's ones that are going to get brought up. I want to say Chris Houston was number 2. The former cornerback for Arkansas. So you had him. But that's about it. So nothing against those players who were number 2. Nothing at all. But there needs to be some more number 2s. We need to get some number 2s in there that could be really great and legendary, whether it's a wide receiver. Because I guess Andrew Armstrong's number 2, so maybe that could be him. You could have him or, a defensive player, just somebody, be that number 2 that everybody remembers, because throughout the top 10, there's always at least one iconic or legendary player that you'll think of. But number 2 still seems to be up in the air for taking. So somebody needs to get number 2. Somebody needs to take care of business in that. Become a great player wearing the number 2. And maybe it's Andrew Armstrong. I think everybody will be okay with that. Appreciate everybody listening in and watching into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at John Nabors Show for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have. Keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.